No one else has more at stake than parents when it comes to the way that society, the way that the online community treats our children and like teaches us about our how to handle our children and their lives in school, in the community or whatever. Like, who cares more than us, right? And so like if you have that much at stake, then we have to be involved, and we have to sort of like I think take ownership of what we are capable of doing, because otherwise, like, no one else is going to invite us in and be like, hey, come take a seat at the table and tell us about all of your cares and like how your children are educated. That's not going to happen. So it's up to us to pull a seat up to the table and say like, look, this is what we care about. This is, what we want to do. This is what is available to parents. These are the resources that we have, and these are the resources that we need. And this is what we're willing to do for it.
When it comes to K-16 education and parents, I have observed a lot of like parent puppeteering, where, some organization will set an agenda and they'll find the parents who care about that thing and be loud about it. And, I feel like when I talk to ordinary parents, most of them, they don't really care about sort of these issues that the sector talks about, right? Like teachers unions or, hypocrisy or school choice. Although I believe in, some of those things, a lot of parents just don't care about this technocratic type stuff. And they just want, schools that are safe and effective for their kid. And basic tips on how to better support their kid at home. And so for me, a lot of this kind of by parents, for parents power is about like, who's telling the story? Like these parents have so much of this lived experience, or maybe their kid was struggling with bullying and they tried A, B, C, and D over the course of 6 or 7 years. They finally tried E, and they learned that was a solution that worked for their family. Well, that parent sharing that story with other parents who are somewhere, dealing with something similar, it can be so powerful, these ripple effects. And so I feel like, more and more parents have been sort of suffering the effects of our education system with their child at home. They're not really sure if it's just them or it's just happening to them. But in reality, like a lot of these challenges and struggles are playing out all over the country, families all over the country. And so the idea that like, oh, I'm not alone. I see this other parent's dealing with something similar. I see that parent's dealing with something similar. I think parents can start to speak up and sort of self-organize around these issues to really elevate a conversation around what's important to them.
One of the main reasons that social media is such a powerful tool for connecting and for building community and for getting yourself out there and really spreading information is because it has become the town square for our generation, for the generation before us, and even for the generation after us. This is where we go to connect. This is where we go to find information. There has been so much controversy and mayhem in the world, especially since the pandemic started. And a lot of people started distrusting news outlets and leaning more towards social media, where it feels like you're not just talking to a corporation, but you're being able to create a relationship with somebody and to truly connect with them. And that is so rare. That is why it is so important that as a social media content creator, you focus on creating community.
When you build a social media following of friends and family, and for some people, kind of open profile, like beyond, the things you say, the things you talk about, the values you communicate, those things have ripple effects that you just don't even realize. And